Hello there, and welcome to AM Prime on WESN Content Capital. I'm Keaton Shaw. Thank you very much for joining me this morning. Well, in approximately 1 week's time, well, not approximately, in exactly 1 week's time, we will be celebrating Labor Day here in Trinidad and Tobago. And in doing so, of course, the unions actually expressed their power in recognition as part of the celebrations of Labor Day. But, oftentimes one wonders exactly where does the power of the union lie? Does it lie within the executive? Does it lie within the leader? Or does it lie within the members? And arguably, one could say all. But recently, one member, one prominent social activist, has actually raised the point that unions in Tobago, their membership have declined, and quite dramatically. In fact, he predicts that approximately 75% of the workforce here in TNT is not unionized. Is that an issue? And what effect does that have on Labor Day or the celebrations of Labor Day, that is? I'm joined this morning by the leader of the Movement for Social Justice, Mr. David Abdullah. Good morning, sir. Welcome back to the program.
Good morning. And good morning to you, listeners. So I didn't hear all of your introductory comments, so yes.
Well, no worries at all. I hope you can hear the questioning, but I'm starting with the point that you'd raised, that approximately 75% of the workforce here in TNT, they're not unionized. Is that a significant issue? Is that something to actually be concerned about?
Well, yes, it is. And thank you for having me on the program. It's something that has been developing over several decades. Because when I joined the trade union movement way back in the mid 70s or towards the end of the 70s, the labor force was predominantly unionized, but the structure of the economy has changed. So we are losing good-paying, secure jobs in industries. You know, the refineries closed, Petrochem was closed down, workers were sent home. ArcelorMittal closed down. Unilever no longer manufactures here in Trinidad after having a manufacturing operation from the 1950s. And we could identify many others. TSTT has downsized and so on. And in its place, you're seeing more and more contracted workers, contractors doing work that would normally have been done by permanent workers, and also a shift to the service sector employment, you know, security guards, more restaurants, fast food outlets, malls, workers in retail activities, which jobs are lower paid, lower skilled jobs, and less secure employment. So, and this is something that has been happening not just in Trinidad and Tobago, but it's a global development. The same is true in the developed countries of the north, as well as in the south, and more people are becoming insecure workers throughout the world, and that insecurity is not good. There's people are working for minimum wages or just above minimum wages, and are finding it more and more difficult to make ends meet. And employment becomes less attractive, so young people may not be interested in getting into formal work and more informal activities. You know, you see more people selling stuff on the side of the road, even if it's just, you know, a little bit of corn that they're selling, or they're walking on the highway between cars selling, pepper and other kinds of food products and so on.
You're making an argument that this is a direct result or a direct reflection on our economic circumstances.
It's a result of the economic policies of neoliberalism, so that the capitalist agenda globally has been to restructure the labor market, to get rid of trade unions, weaken the power of labor, and thus shift wealth more and more into the hands of a few. And it has been shown that where there are strong unions and where more workers are unionized, income inequality is less. Where the unions have become weaker and fewer workers are unionized, income inequality has grown. And certainly that is true of Trinidad and Tobago. Growing income and wealth inequality, and therefore more and more people get pushed to the edge, more and more people can't make it from payday to payday, and more people don't know where they're getting money to put food on the table or money to pay for transportation for their children to go to school.
Mm-hmm. But Mr. Abdullah, what this also suggests about the powers of unions, do you think that unions and their power, because membership is declining, not has declined, but rather is declining, that suggests that the power of unions are also diminishing, that unions may not have a role to play in time to come?
No, in fact, the opposite is true in the sense that unions are needed more than ever to begin to tackle the social injustices that exist and to shift again the balance of power between those who control the economy and are benefiting tremendously and are becoming richer and richer while the poor become poorer. So unions are necessary. Yes, it is true that the power of unions is less today than it was 30, 40 years ago. That is a fact. But on the other hand, unions are needed more now than ever to address the social inequalities and the inequalities of wealth and income that exist. So that is necessary. But in the case of Trinidad and Tobago, unions have a particular difficulty. I mean, if you look at the United States, for example, you will see that there was a wave of strikes last year. One major one was by the United Auto Workers Union, which won significant wage increases and other benefits for their members. And as a result of that, workers in other workplaces, not only in the auto sector, but in other sectors, including at places like universities, have joined the United Auto Workers Union. And so there's been an increase in union membership as a result of that type of militancy. So unions are needed. But here in Trinidad and Tobago, we have a real problem with the process of recognition for trade unions, because trade unions have great problems in having their members or having workers join, given a very backward piece of legislation, which is the Industrial Relations Act, which was passed incidentally in June of 1972, just before June 19th of 1972, during a state of public emergency when labor leaders like George Reeks and others were actually in political detention. And the Industrial Relations Act has set up a procedure of recognition for trade unions where, and I was General Secretary of the ODTU for a number of years before I retired 8 years ago, and we had claims before the Recognition Board to become the recognized majority union for workers, and those claims were sometimes pending for 4, 5, 6, 7, as long as 12 years. And what employers have also done is to challenge the Recognition Board. So you recently had, the Banking and General, Insurance and General Workers Union having a recognition claim for workers of Royal Bank, which took them many years to achieve, to make the application to the Recognition Board to be recognized and certified as a majority recognized union, only for the bank to challenge that decision in the High Court. So the whole process has become also very legalized and difficult for workers to join a trade union. If, for example, you want to unionize a workplace that has, or an employer that has more than one workplace, say a fast food franchise that may have 30 or 40 outlets, you have to get 51% of all of the workers throughout those stores together to be members of the union, and they have to be paying dues together, more than 51% of them, for 8 weeks. So that if there's, say, 1,000 workers, just for argument's sake, and you get 50 today and 50 next week and 50 the following week, you have to wait until more than 500 have joined, and those 500 would then have to pay dues together for 8 consecutive weeks. If, as you get the first 50 and the second 50 and the third 50, the employer gets wind of the unionization drive and then dismisses some of those workers, you then lose your 51% by the time you apply for recognition. So the law is heavily weighted in the interest of the employer class, and that is making it very difficult for workers to have what is embedded in the ILO core conventions, which Trinidad and Tobago has signed on to, but which the IRA really defeats, the right of freedom of association, the right to join a trade union of your choice and be represented by a trade union. So that law needs to be changed.
Mr. Abdullah, if you're making an argument that it's neoliberal capitalist economic policies that have led to this point, what economic theories do you think that TNT should be practicing?
Well, generally, policies of social justice, which, in many countries, including in countries of Europe, trade unions are much more involved in the process of at the workplace. The workers are heavily unionized, and the workers also have the right to strike, the right to withhold their labor. That is also another important thing that has to be changed in our legislation. So if you look at the last year and a half in say, the UK, there have been strikes by university lecturers, by teachers, by doctors, by nurses, by ambulance drivers, by railway workers, and bus workers, and all kinds of other groups of workers. Here in Trinidad and Tobago, none of those workers can legally go on strike because of that same repressive Industrial Relations Act. So we need to have policies, first of all, to deal with changing, or government rather, that will change labor legislation, and secondly, that will ensure that in the development of the economy, that we ensure that manufacturing is stronger so that we create more decent, sustainable jobs. That is very, very important. And shift again the structure of the labor market back to decent jobs. So that is important. And one will say, well, that can't work. But if you look at the United States, look at what they're doing. They're trying to invest huge amounts of money to get manufacturing back into the United States, whether it's the manufacturing of microchips. So I'm not suggesting we manufacture microchips, but they're trying to get manufacturing back into the U.S. So they recognize that the model that they had of neoliberalism wasn't working. Yes, although there's still neoliberal policies in the U.S., but they recognize that elements of neoliberalism are not working, and so they're trying to reverse that. So we need to engage in economic policies which are known as industrial policies, where we are planning an economy in a way that the state has a role, and that the state ensures, not only by way of incentives to the private sector, but by investments of the state itself, to ensure that we have decent, well-paid jobs, sustainable employment for the working class of Trinidad and Tobago.
Do you think that it's a possibility that it can actually be the opposite? Instead of the economic policies that have been practiced, or even the repressive Industrial Relations Act, as you've described it, our labor laws in TNT as well, do you think it's just that people no longer see the benefits to unions, and that workers no longer see the need to actually join membership or pay membership fees to unions?
No, I think that, well, let me put it the other way around. What has happened is that over the years, there has been, a demonization, if you wish, of trade unions. So if the trade union does something that is very positive in terms of engagement with the employer to improve health and safety and so on at the workplace, because all the gains that workers have today as a result of the trade unions, health and safety standards, the very Occupational Safety and Health Act was as a result of trade union intervention, agitation over a very long period of time, going back 40 years. Vacation leave, maternity leave benefits, overtime pay, all of these things, pension plans, medical plans where they may exist, all of these things were the result of trade unions. Those things did not fall from the sky, neither did they come out of the goodness that the employers had. So the problem has been that we don't have an education system that promotes or enables young people to understand what trade unions have done historically for the development of the country, both in terms of the economy and in terms of social and political gains. The very right to vote was a result of workers going on strike in 1919, 1920, and forcing the British colonial government to introduce an element of constitutional reform in 1925 with the first limited elections, or first elections on the limited adult franchise. 1946 we got full adult franchise because of 1937 June 19th. So the young people have not grown up in a culture where an environment where trade unions have been promoted in a positive way. And the media has a role to play apart from the education system in demonizing and marginalizing the role and importance of trade unions. So, but on the other hand, when we started last week the campaign on workers' rights, giving out leaflets in downtown Port of Spain, and this is an ongoing process. We're going throughout the country giving out leaflets or pamphlets educating workers about their rights. We were very well received by workers, and all of them were young, mostly women. I would say 98% were women, and 90% were under the age of 30. And they were all very happy to get the information because they said they didn't know what their rights are. So it's important for that kind of education to take place so that there is a greater awareness of first of all, that workers have rights under existing laws, as bad as some of them may be, but they do have rights. And secondly, that through that process, they get an appreciation of the importance of joining a trade union.
So I know you said that the media has a role to play as well, and not necessarily demonizing unions. But my next question actually probably does quite the opposite, and that is: do you suppose that unions are actually more detrimental to a nation's economy rather than a positive factor, where sometimes they make unrealistic demands without recognizing the entire economic reality?
No, not at all. And as I said, if you look at all the economies that are doing well and employ places of work that are doing well, or companies that are doing well, they're unionized. Where there's a trade union, productivity and efficiency tends to be much higher because workers are more satisfied, and the more satisfied a worker is, the more productive that worker will be. And studies have shown that. In fact, I was reading a couple of them online just a few days ago. So, no, unions are very positive, and unions don't make unrealistic demands. I mean, unions are very well aware of the existing environment, both the microenvironment and the workplace, the status of the company and its ability to pay, and the macro level of the state of the economy. But we also have to recognize that there will be arguments put forward both by the employer and by the government in terms of the general economy of a country, that things are so bad that they can't afford to pay. But money is found for all kinds of other things. And when you have a situation where workers have not had a wage increase for 10 years or more, or they're forced to accept a 4% over, a wage increase over 6 years, and they still are having to deal with higher prices at the supermarket and transport prices and so on, what you're doing is actually making the economy worse, because workers have less earning power, and therefore they will spend less, and if they spend less, then economic activity will be decreased. Now, of course, one could argue that in a situation like Trinidad and Tobago, if there's too much consumption power by people, they will buy foreign. So that is where now you have to have economic policies too, which is a point I made in my media conference on Sunday morning, that the government now has to diversify the economy by having policies that will result in the increase in local goods and services being available, and having a major campaign and thrust to buy local. And we were making that point in our roadmap for recovery in 2020. We were the only party, MHA was the only party that put forward a major document on the recovery and transformation of the economy coming out of COVID. And we lost an opportunity at that moment to really develop more local production so we could increase our exports and reduce our imports and create sustainable employment by restructuring the economy at that time. And the unions could have played a key role in that process. But of course, the government was blind and deaf to all sensible suggestions.
Mr. Abdullah, let me just shift gears a bit, given the time that we have left. If it is
Sure.
that you think that our labor laws are punitive and that there's a lack of confidence in our Industrial Relations Act, do you also lack confidence by extension in our industrial court, AT&T?
Okay, so let me say that I'm not the only one who has critiqued the labor laws in Trinidad and Tobago. Professor Rosemary Bell-Antoine, who's currently the Pro-Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of West Indies St. Augustine campus and an expert in labor law, has publicly said that the labor legislation in Trinidad and Tobago is the most backward and repressive, certainly in the Caribbean and in many other parts of the world. So I can be backed up on my critique of labor legislation by other people who are not trade union members or former trade union leaders. The industrial court is a creature of the Industrial Relations Act, and so we have developed this culture of compulsory arbitration. That's what the Industrial Court provides for, compulsory arbitration when the employer and the trade union cannot resolve a matter across the table in bilateral talks. Now, there are positives in that where you may have an employer that is a rogue employer, the court then can hand down a judgment and force the employer to ensure that proper industrial relations practices are being maintained and redress to a worker who has been victimized or who has been wronged by poor industrial relations practices. So that is positive. On the negative of that, though, is that the process of industrial relations now has become too legalized. So an employer may decide that they could do something that they know is wrong and then hire attorneys to fight the matter in the industrial court. And those matters might drag on for 4 or 5 years. So the wrong has been done, but the redress to the wrong may take a very long time in coming. And so that has become problematic. And also, workers, on the other hand, and this is a thing that we say to union members all the time, have also become dependent on the court. So rather than taking up matters at the workplace and trying to resolve the matter on the shop floor, they say, well, let the union handle that, which means that the union leadership or officers of the union handle that. And then the problems don't get nipped in the bud and resolved at the workplace, and they get bumped up all the way to the industrial court. And therefore, problems and grievances fester, and the culture of the workplace becomes more toxic. So there are both positives and negatives with respect to the system of compulsory arbitration that has been instituted since actually 1965 with the Industrial Stabilization Act, which was also passed during a state of emergency, incidentally, in 1965. So there are pros and cons. I'm not going to comment on actual judgments or decisions of the court. I myself never, practiced in the court. I'm familiar with, of course, its processes, but I never practiced, and I'm not familiar with a lot of the judgments that are coming out of the court these days. So I'm not going to comment on what the court has done. I'm just commenting on the pros and cons of the system of compulsory arbitration.
Well, Mr. Abdullah, with Liberty being celebrated on June 19th, this year in particular, what would you would be recognized, or what do you hope is something that will be brought to light as you recognize TNT's labor force?
Yeah, well, I expect, I certainly hope that, those members of trade unions come out in large numbers on June 19th. June 19th is not just a celebration of the victories and gains by workers and the trade unions as a result of June 19th, 1937, and the formation of trade unions just after that. But June 19th is important for workers to show solidarity and unity and strength in numbers, and that they are very committed to the labor movement and all that the labor movement stands for. So my hope is that we get a powerful showing on June 19th. The theme of it, from what I understand, is unite to fight, one movement, one voice, justice for all. So that's a powerful theme, and I'm sure that whatever speeches and statements are made on the platform on June 19th will speak to that theme, and there'll be statements about economic policy government, other actions by private employers, and so on, and the need for workers really to unite in order to deal with the problems of Trinidad and Tobago.
Mr. Abdullah, thank you very much for your time this morning. Thanks for joining us once more on the program.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry that we were having connectivity problems. I think they're almost resolved, but not so sure that we could have managed the Zoom this morning. Hopefully next time the Zoom will be up and running. Not at my home, but the general community was affected by a fiber optic cable or cables, several cables that got damaged. And so connectivity was difficult, which is what happened on Monday last as well.
No worries at all, sir. At least we were able to have the conversation, which is most important. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Take care. Ladies and gentlemen, we take a break here on AM Prime. We will return shortly. We'll be right back.
This is 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson. The distance from where we should be in the world in going forward and our commitments with climate change.
The effects of climate change that cannot be accounted for, it's called loss and damage. And we're seeing loss and damage happening so much more in this decade and the previous decade.
The principal term there was this question of the correspondent banking issues.
That is why we're trying to build capacity with this country here, Trinidad and Tobago, and other countries in the region. Man
is not showing any signs of stopping or even slowing down. More than half of the forest in Trinidad is already gone.
All the plants and all the animals and all of the nice clean water and fresh air and everything had to be on this planet for humanity to have a chance.
We have small change when it comes to countries that can take decisions, and when they speak, the world listens.
The General Assembly is a very democratic forum. And Trinidad and Tobago has the same vote as Canada, in spite of the obvious difference in size.
We are tackling the hard-hitting topics, some controversial topics, some topics we sweep under the rug. You don't always have to forgive in a relationship for it to move forward.
If it is you are in a situation where you forgive the person, but to the detriment of yourself, what are you really doing?
It is very uncommon for somebody in the younger age group to have dementia.
Atheists don't not believe.
Is that I can't disprove God, but you also can't prove God, so we kind of have to stalemate.
You'll focus on the woman who's being the victim,
right,
or the man is being the victim. We exclude the children.
Folks are trying to study the underlying brain mechanism to figure out how does this particular disorder happen in the brain? How is the brain processing this?
Don't worry about AI, worry about humans working with AI.
Are you willing to learn new skills to stay relevant for the future job market? That's the challenge that people are going to struggle with.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital. How you felt about the kiss on the lip?
That's the business. I'm not to do with that.
I find that was distasteful.
The national senior team, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement.
If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break the balance, trip the leg, control the body.
They ain't gonna stand put forever.
Why you want the Chiefs to lose so? Why you want the Chiefs to lose so?
They already have two. Lamar don't
Why?
have.
You're jealous because you know the Chiefs getting closer to the Patriots. Let's go to the last part.
No,
of the
not no.
Let's go to the last part.
Imagine a world where arguments don't exist. CICR is a full-service conflict resolution company that offers mediation training and workshops for all. In 2024, our 40-hour workshops are back, giving you all the tools you need to become a certified mediator in Trinidad and Tobago. Want to know more? Call us at 768-6778 or visit our website. Let's work together to make the world a better place.
Welcome back to AM Prime, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being with us this morning as we continue the conversations. In fact, we're turning to something just a bit lighter, something a bit more merrier as we celebrate 1 year of Superior gaining borough status under the patronage of Mr. Shankar Tilak Singh, who is the Councillor for Cedros and the Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Superior. They will be hosting the Cedros Indo Culture Fest 2024 on Saturday, the 22nd of June, which is right around the corner, by the way. And boy, I actually got a list of the activities that are lined up, and the schedule is packed. But let me first welcome this morning the Councillor for Cedros and the Deputy Mayor of Superior, Mr. Shankar Tilak Singh. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, good morning to you. Good morning to your station. Good morning to your listeners this morning. It's really a pleasure to be with you this morning.
Thank you very much for joining us. And also joining us is Ms. Candice Reed-Bethel. She is the Chief Executive Officer of Burgess Group and also Planning Assistant at GEMS Events. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, everyone.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. First, Councillor and Deputy Mayor, the titles are all there. But let me start by asking you, why in particular was this Indo Culture Fest seen as something that is well, perhaps best fit or more suitable to celebrating 1 year as Superior being a borough status, gaining borough status?
Yeah, so this was well planned from a couple months ago. We had it on the program, and for Indian Arrival Day, and then it ties into our anniversary, first anniversary of the borough. So we kind of try to bring it all together. It is important for our community, not only by the name, but for all of the whole of the country to come in this historic site, which is Manmohan Singh Park, which has a lot of history behind it in the electoral district of Cedros. When GEMS came on and wanted to do this this program and to partner with them, I took the opportunity to highlight the Cedros district with a rich history of both local tourism and also other historic sites that we would have want to highlight the community. So, it is a great opportunity now for, persons who, it's a family event and a great opportunity for persons to come and visit Cedros, being part of the Superior Borough, and we are also now celebrating our first anniversary as a borough.
Arguably, based on what you just said, Cedros is perhaps the most suited location to really celebrate the whole borough of Superior.
And it's on the beach.
Which is always the best thing, by the way. Can't argue with that. Good morning, Miss Candice Reed-Bethel. Thank you for joining us once more. How are you doing this morning?
I am great. Thank you.
Now, I would imagine that you are quite exhausted because the lineup for this particular event it's extensive. But in planning this event, how did you, with your team, analyze what is most suitable in order to really make up this event, this Culture Fest?
Well, I must say this has all come to fruition via the guidance of Mr. Raymond Ali, who's one of the founders of Global Exhibitions Management Services. And he would have, had us put this whole agenda together, and we are just looking forward to bringing it to fruition on June 22nd.
And what can we expect actually on June 22nd?
Oh, We have a packed day for the children, for the teens, for the adults. We have everything for everyone. So we're going to be kicking things off with a curry duck cookout. We have a doubles cookout, challenge and food fest. We also have an exhibition and cultural show. There is going to be a Castorama competition to wrap the day up. And we also have one of our biggest highlights for this is the Entrepreneur Fair pop-up market and flea market. So it's going to be an event of a totally different magnitude, and it's all geared and tailored to the community of Cedros.
You're gonna have to forgive me. You had me at curry duck and doubles. I was gonna. Councillor Tilakson, coming back to you though, there's something that you mentioned in respect to community building. Siparia is really celebrating 1 year, under the status of being a borough. But within that last year, do you think that this really has led to further community building and community enhancement, having that status, that title, under that particular region here in TNT?
Well, it's us. We at the Siparia Borough Corporation, together with worship, his Mayor Dudnat, we have worked together in trying to at least have that community spirit. And at our military parade on I think it was Friday on the 7th, you would have seen that that thirst for community spirit within our Burgesses. They came out in their numbers and supported activities. That activity at our interfaith service also was a success. So it shows that these events really bring out the community spirit within all communities within the borough. And passing through the various districts as deputy mayor and councillor, you are hearing residents are asking for that sort of these type of activities to bring families together, to bring the community together. And the Cedros district is is one of a more quiet area. And when we have these sort of recently we had a little program which I try to do as much as possible for community working through our religious organizations and other other groups, each activity to have something within the Cedros district. So it is as we are at this end for both, and I always promote local tourism. So people from all parts of the country normally comes and support our local tourism within the Cedros district. That is something that I'm trying to build over the years. And having this milestone, which is your first year anniversary, now we are trying to at least showcase our beaches, our fishing area within the Cedros district, our mud volcano, our historic sites such as the Old American Base, and you have the mud volcanoes, our saltwater lagoon within the Icacas area. So it's a lot for families to come down to Cedros on the 22nd, that weekend. And be part of the district and look and see what we have to offer in terms of our rich culture, our rich history in our local tourism and other historic sites that we would have to offer the country.
But this is not just for local tourism, though. You're speaking greatly to a great extent about cultural preservation as well.
Yeah, correct. Mm-hmm.
So in doing so, this cultural fest is celebrating, again, 1 year, and I'm stressing on that and that's a significant date. But I just want to know, in respect to, the essence of Cedros and your vision for Cedros, are we going to see more activities like this happening?
Definitely so. We have coming up right after we have the Fisherman Day, which is St. Peter's Day. We also have for the August season, we normally have our seafood festival. Those are various things. We go straight into our Independence Day celebration, and also a number of things that will be coming up, and I hope GEMS and Virtual Scope will continue to partner with us and other partnering with the national community to at least partner with us to celebrate those mile mark that we just described. So through the borough, I continue to work with all stakeholders in terms of, matter of fact, today. The mayor, his worship, and the councillor, two councillors, one from San Francisco and the other one from Siparia East San Francisco, together with another councillor from Erin, continue to have one of our agricultural expo. So, we are catering for all different, categories within our community to assist our farmers, to assist our fisher folks, to help bring the culture of Siparia, and we have culture in each one of our district. So Huse Festival is unique to Cedros also. Those are another area that I continue to support the various groups and so on. But for this weekend, we are concentrating on this program that we are having, this celebration that we are having, and we are trying our best to have it suited, as Candice will probably explain shortly, for not only the elderly, but for all members of the family. So the smallest child will have an event to attend to, and also the program will be packed with a lot of entertainment, and as we continue to showcase the Siparia Borough Corporation in the Cedros district, what we has to offer to Trinidad and Tobago to the extent the national community.
I think Ms. Candice Reed-Bethel, when she said, we hope that you continue to partner in promoting not just Cedros, but all of TNT, she had a smile on her face. I think that's a yes. So I think we have a positive there. Ms. Candice Reed-Bethel, bringing you back into the conversation now, as Council would have just mentioned, all the elements put together for everyone within the family, from the youngest child to the elderly, what is it that is available on the day for family members to participate in?
All right, so from the children, we have rides, we have games from land, snack land. There's an extensive court area. We have a big food court area that we're going to also be developing. It's going to also have the element of the ultimate shopping experience. So we encourage any of the entrepreneurs within the area and environs to reach out to us so that they can come and represent, showcase their services, their goods, whatever they have to offer. The cultural program is live entertainment. We have popular DJs, popular MC dancers, music band. We are coming out, we are pulling out all the stops. The corridor competition, that is going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to that. The doubles competition is going to have a different element because we're going to do it in a preliminary stage for the doubles competition, and then we're going to have a final. So again, we are reaching out to doubles vendors in the community and environs to reach out to us. The numbers are there, and let's make it a really grand time. We do have registration fees enclosed that we will share when persons reach out to us, and great prizes. We have some prizes that are going to blow your mind.
But there's something that stood out to me when taking a look at the flyer in particular. It says that there's a Entrepreneur Fest as well. That's part of this. Please tell me a bit more about an Entrepreneur Fest.
So the concept of that is basically to get visibility for entrepreneurs who won't typically get that exposure. So we want to make that something that they can come out to and participate. They can experience the whole event, and they can also showcase their business.
Oh, well, definitely. This is rather incredible. So coming back to you, Councillor, this is really now your time to get people to come out and participate, to get people to come out and have fun. It's not only a celebration of Cedros and Siparia, but a celebration of community and who we are as people. Now is your time to really reach out to those and encourage them to come.
Well, I also encourage, I was just talking to Candice just earlier, and, and you also, before the interview starts, and, a lot of people don't, sometimes when you ask, or you go up north or even central or even San Fernando, you ask persons, they ask, Cedros, where that is, and Cedros is part of the Southwest Peninsula. That, a lot of, we hear a lot of negative when it happens, but there is a lot of positive in Cedros, right? Cedros has every road lead to a beach in Cedros. We have the Columbus Bay, we have the Bonas beachfront, we have Galfa Point, we have Granville, we have every road that comes down to the district leads to a beach that is so beautiful that we try to maintain and have open to the general public. So I am encouraging members of the national community and, well, our locals within the Southwest Peninsula to come and have that opportunity to, as we showcase and partner with our sponsors, GEMS and Virtual Scoop, to have a wonderful day of a family event within the Cedros district. It will be a historic moment, because very rare. I cannot recall visiting Doubles Fest, right? And that is a landmark by itself, to have for the first time, if in Cedros, but other areas, that this will be taking place. It's interesting to see the different type of doubles. So don't just feel that you're getting doubles and bara and chana. I'm hearing other ingredients will be there. And it's interesting to see how that will light up your taste buds and palates for that for this event. So it's interesting, and it's very attracting to see what sort of a product that they are coming out with. So it's very, when I heard about this Double Fest, I said, well, okay, what, just, everybody, the normal, bara and chana, a little tamarind chutney and whatever. But Candice said, no, there's other ingredients that they were coming out with. So you would probably have a chicken doubles or some other interesting ingredients that they will put and have that available for the the community and all who will be attending. So beside that, the corridor competition, come and have a taste. I know for a fact the Cedros crew is looking forward to take that attractive price that GEMS are offering. So we are challenging those corridor experts, both in the other communities throughout Trinidad and Tobago, to come down and challenge us. We are there. So, there's a certain taste of the Cedros duck that, it's a unique taste to the national community. A lot of people, when they come down, they want that taste, that sweet hand in Cedros. So it's a challenge for the national corridor cookout who will participate and so on, to come and try your hand. So let's see which community will take the first prize.
Also, you were supposed to be encouraging the general audience to come now. I think you've just sold me on the entire event.
No, well, once there's attractive pricing, the general public, I know for a fact, will come down. So I know you will be there also. So, it's something that, and bring the family. And once one family hear about this exciting moment down in Cedros, we are all, I know for a fact that it'll be overwhelmed with support for this event.
Indeed. Miss Candice Reed Bethel, I saw you. I've got more to add to this.
The Tasarama competition. We want you guys, you TASA groups, to come out in your numbers, reach out to us. We want to end the day with the Tasarama. I want to see that part of it really illuminate the evening.
Indeed. But if people wanted to participate, in other words, not just attend, but probably participate in the Doubles Fest or Curry Duck Fest, can they do so?
Yes, they can. So they can contact us at 304-9098, 349-9483, or 372-4981.
And folks, if that wasn't enough PR this morning, guess what? The one thing that you'll love the most, it's true. This event is absolutely free to everyone. So go down to Cedros and enjoy this festival. I think that's an important point. So, everybody in TNT, if it's free, We will. Definitely, we'll be there. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for your time this morning. Congratulations not only on 1 year, but putting this entire event together, and to the entire team who's working hard behind the doors to make sure it happens. Well done to everyone. So, Councillor, thank you very much for joining me this morning on the program. Thanks very much for your time, and Ms. Candice Reed-Bethel, thank you very much as well for all your hard work.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you. All the very best. Ladies and gentlemen, it actually starts from 10 a.m. next week, Saturday. It's carded to end at 10 p.m. We've got a full day of activities, but it's incredible, as I said, when I saw the list. In fact, we will put up the list for you in time to come so that you can see all that there is. We couldn't mention it all, but at least 12 hours of fun, and a lot is happening in Secrets on the 22nd of June. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's where we ended. Now we're going to pause, and when we return, well, it's Wild Wednesday. We'll be right back.
Here is the WESN News on the Hour. I am Sierra Ali. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. JCC says procurement regulator Beverly Khan is setting dangerous precedent by not issuing 2023 annual report. UNC leader produces cabinet note that recommends tax increases to make up budget deficit. Energy Minister says CARICOM working to become a climate-friendly region despite funding challenges. Social activist gets green light to appeal extension of top cop contract at Privy Council. Internationally, Hunter Biden found guilty on all counts in gun trial. Now for the details. The Joint Consultative Council says it is extremely concerned about the procurement regulator's failure to produce its annual report as required under Section 24 of the Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Property Act. The JCC says the independent report was due to be submitted to the Speaker of the House, President of the Senate, and Minister of Finance in December 2023 for it to be laid in Parliament. To date, the report has not been laid, and there is no indication that it has even been produced. JCC President Fazir Khan says a very dangerous precedent is being set by the Office of the Procurement Regulator in not issuing the annual report. Beverly Khan was appointed Procurement Regulator in June 2023. The Auditor General report for the financial year 2023 highlights numerous cases of glaring irregularities and public procurement breaches in the award of contracts issued by several ministries and government institutions. Opposition leader Kamar Prasad Bisasa has exposed a cabinet note as proof that the government intends to increase taxes. She showed the document from which she quoted during a political meeting at Kanhai Presbyterian School in Barapur last evening. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley had vehemently denied that his government was contemplating any tax increase during last Friday's debate in Parliament to increase the 2024 budget by $2.3 billion. Responding to the opposition leader's exposure of the purported Cabinet Note 1024, dated May 21, 2024, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley stated via a WhatsApp message that, quote, there was no discussions on any such proposal, end of quote. Minister of Energy and Energy Industries Stuart Young says CARICOM is diligently working to become a climate-friendly region in spite of challenges posed by inadequate development aid and climate financing from global funding. He made the point while addressing Monday's opening session of the Energy Chamber's CARICOM Sustainable Energy Conference at Hilton, Trinidad. Minister Young says the region needs to speak up and call out the main global carbon emitters and offenders in its advocacy for increased climate resilience funding. Political and social activist Ravi Balgobin Maharaj is granted conditional leave to petition the Privy Council with his legal challenge against the government's decision to extend the term of Police Commissioner Early Hayward Christopher after she reached the retirement age. Justices of Appeal Mark Mohammed, Maria Wilson, and Rani Buru Singh gave Mr. Maharaj leave on Monday to file his appeal to the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council against the Court of Appeal's May 8th judgment. Appellate judges Prakash Mosai, Mark Mohammed, and James Abood had rejected Maharaj's appeal against Judge Ricky Rahim's dismissal of his lawsuit in January. The government has since extended the contract of Hayward Christopher by 1 year. In international news, Hunter Biden is found guilty on all 3 counts of his federal gun crimes case in Delaware. The 12-person jury found the U.S. president's son lied about his drug use on a form when purchasing a handgun in 2018. Biden now faces possible prison term of up to 25 years. Although a sentence of that length for a first-time offender is highly unlikely. Well, that's it to News on the Hour on WESN. I am Sira Ali. Thank you for watching.
Imagine a world where arguments don't exist. CICR is a full-service conflict resolution company that offers mediation training and workshops for all. In 2024, our 40-hour workshops are back, giving you all the tools you need to become a certified mediator in Trinidad and Tobago. Want to know more? Call us at 768-6778 or visit our website. Let's work together to make the world a better place.
Bill and Ruth fell in love with the Benjamin Moore color Dry Sage, but they tried to match it using another brand's paint.
I mean, it's close enough.
Almost identical, really. Yeah, there it is.
Never trust another paint to be a Benjamin Moore color.
Well, as I said, with all the rumblings this morning, if you think Wednesday wasn't wild enough, we've got Ricardo Meade and Jeremy Beecham in studio with us this morning for Wild Wednesday. Good morning, guys. Welcome back.
Morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us.
Why you all sound so depressing?
The media can do that to you.
I didn't do anything.
The media, looking at what's going on out there in our paradise, it's not like paradise lost almost. It's a little scary sometimes. That's why we have to sort of retreat and, draw ourselves back into the simpler things like the animals and get some solace there.
I also thought you were going to say draw yourself back into the caves, because the new caveman look, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. This is part of the Wild Wednesday, They found I was a little too eloquent and elaborate to be a wild guy, so I'm trying to cultivate that aspect of my persona. So hopefully it works for you guys out there, yeah. Also representing my age a little better,
Jeremy, how you doing, man?
I'm all right. Happy to be here again.
Yeah, but before we get into welcoming our guest this morning, our third guest, some good news regarding green sea turtle.
Yes.
And I'd like you to share that news with the viewers, because you got all the details.
Yeah, well, since November 24th, 2023, last year, we admitted a large female green sea turtle. She was about 64 kilograms, big girl. And quite a daunting task in the rehab. She refused to eat. We thought she was eating at one point. It turns like she was actually hiding the food under her shell. She was apparently grabbed by a net, hooked in a net, and dragged at the bottom of the ocean. So she sustained cracks in her side, where the carapace, the back meets the palstron, her belly, there's bricks on either side, and that prevented her from being able to dive. Can't dive, can't swim properly, can't eat, and would eventually die. So she washed up on the shore. So when we tested her in a big pool, we got a big pool and started the rehab process. It was like when you put a football in the ocean and you try to hold it down, and it pops out of your hand and just literally jumps into the air because of the pressure. The air wants to come up. And that's what was going on with her, and realized we had a big problem. So we had consultations with local and international veterinarians who would have experience with turtles, and they determined basically dry docking her, keeping her in a little bit of salt water, and just going through antibiotics and basically giving the body a chance to heal. So it was estimated to be between 4 and 6 months to do that, and we were like, that is difficult. But it is what needs to be done, it is what will be done. So we did it. So we had volunteers coming in. So she wasn't eating. She needed to eat to heal her body. So we took her out and started force feeding her, a tube down to her stomach, prepare food, and then force that. Not easy when a turtle almost 200 pounds fighting you on a table. Yeah. But we got a lot of agencies involved. Turtle people were interested right away. So you had Turtle Village Trust, you had Nature Seekers who were the original rescuers. We had Species, and Grand Riviere Turtle people. So all came together and they brought in volunteers because we needed a lot of people, about 6 people each feeding. So 4 days a week, 6 people coming from different organizations coming together, feeding this turtle, and she put on weight. She started doing good. We put her in the pond, and she started swimming and going under the water. So that means she was gaining control of her pressure control. And eventually we took her to a large swimming pool where it's 12 feet deep, and she started swimming around in there. She was just amazing. So we have amazing footage of that, and it was determined, okay, March the 3rd, which was Sunday just went, was the start of the turtle nesting season, but it was also International World Wildlife Day, and it was also the start of, well, the beach cleanup at Nature Seekers Matura Beach. So we had thousands of people there, over 2,000 people there, and we were able to take her there, tag her, and released her, and she went back into the ocean. It was just amazing.
Excellent. Quite a journey indeed from the start.
And the exciting part, it didn't take 4 to 6 months. We got it in about 3 months and 8 days, which is just great.
Which is even more incredible considering all that was happening. Because
Yes,
I do
indeed.
recall the efforts as well, and even trying to get the pond at one point. You know, the appeal to try and get that pond. So I'm glad everything worked out. You ever, you know, I've asked this question before, but in an instance like this, you ever get that bittersweet moment seeing the turtle, you know, with its full energy and back to being a turtle and doing what a turtle does, going back into the water and disappearing under the waves? You ever get that bittersweet?
Well, we always say, you know, big man and bad man don't cry, but when that turtle's going out there, you know, it touches. I'm telling you, it touches. You could try. We could try. There are thousands of people around, and I'm trying to just be, you know, me, the bad and big, and, you know, it hits you. When that moment there, it hits you, and you just gotta turn your back a bit to the crowd and just take that deep breath or pretend sand got in your eye or something. But it hits because it's bittersweet. You're happy the turtle is going back out, and then the uncertainty that something like this may happen again. But you've done everything that you've done with the people, amazing group of people, and we're looking forward to doing a turtle hospital now in Trinidad, which we should have had for the past 20 years, to tell you the truth. But we really need it because we have lots of cases of turtles coming in, and we need better resources to be able to handle them instead of last minute just now scrambling to make it happen. You know it's going to happen, be prepared for it.
And it's a good thing you've got Jeremy on board as well. I'm pretty sure he could probably lift 200 by himself. 200 pounds.
Yeah,
well, scary. But nevertheless, guys, it's a really good news in respect to the green sea turtle. But as always, we do have a guest with us this morning, and I'm excited for this one because I saw the name of the guest this morning yesterday, Googled it immediately, saw exactly what it was, and it's a bit scary looking, isn't it? It's a bit scary looking. Who do we have with us this morning, Jeremy?
We have the tigre, or also known as tiger rat snake. It's one of the larger colubrids found in the world, I should say.
Really?
Yeah, one of the larger colubrids. The species here, the specimen here, shall I get him out?
Oh yeah, you can go for it. So we have...
This guy is quite chilled at times.
At times? Wow.
All right, so you'll notice he puffing up his neck. This is a defensive defense they will do to try and make themselves appear bigger.
This is a rat snake? This is a non-venomous snake?
Non-venomous, yeah.
This is not, look at him, whoa. And this is the thing, if people see these snakes in the wild, they're going to immediately think, hold on, this is venomous. Yeah.
Yeah,
they can always be careful.
They could be a bit nippy.
Yeah, he's definitely. But I'm also intrigued at the shape. Look at the shape of the snake itself.
Just extend your arm, let him go across you as a tree.
Okay.
So a thing like that there. Yeah. What do you notice about the shape?
It's triangular, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a sharp ridge along the back. What else do we know like that? What other snake you know like that?
I can't think of it at the top of my head right now.
Kind of like if it's almost it's like if it's like a cutlass, right?
It looks like a whip to say something.
Yeah. But the edge would give you the feeling that it's like a cutlass, right? Like a machete.
Yeah. So this is what they call a cutlass snake as well?
But not a cutlass snake. It's in the family. The machete is one of the more common ones. Yeah, keep him from getting under the desk so he doesn't get entangled in any wire works and so on there.
So he is a bit long in terms of length for a rat snake as well. How long do these guys get in terms of length?
I would say about 9 feet.
9 feet?
Yeah, you'll get up to 9 feet long.
Whoa. And this is why I got excited yesterday, because I saw the snake, I saw the color of the snake, and very similar, not completely very much alike, but very similar to the tiger snake, which is one of the more venomous snakes in the world. But if, as I said, if people see these snakes in the wild, they're going to think it's venomous. They're going to, in fact, one of the expressions I heard yesterday from someone said, if I see this, the cutlass coming out.
I mean, that is Trinidadians' response to all snakes. But with regards to these guys, there's what they will say, they will bite you like a dog. The snake will run along and bite you like a dog. I would prefer to be bitten by the snake than to be bitten by a dog any day.
I've heard that expression as well. When the snake bites you like a dog.
Yeah, this is what they're referring to, this and the machete.
Right.
But these are defensive snakes. They will basically, most of the time what has happened, when persons encounter the snakes in the wild, they will be in the part of where the snake, his den is, or where he would normally go to rest.
Mm-hmm.
So the snake just trying to get to that spot.
He's posing for the camera.
Yeah.
He's been posing. He's like, I'm looking at the camera, I'm looking at you, the viewer. Yeah, don't mess with me. Tell me more about this snake in terms of where we find it in Trinidad.
You'll find it everywhere in Trinidad, lowland areas, forest areas, deep forest, up in the northern range. A colleague of mine told me he found one to the top of El Takuch, all the way down to within the low forested areas, near water mainly.
Okay. He's puffing up again. He just released a lot of air, and now he's puffing up again. So that's a defensive position, as you mentioned. Are these snakes aggressive, by the way?
They are defensive.
Okay, so I like how you said it. They're not aggressive, they're defensive.
Yeah, they wouldn't actively pursue you to attack. They would just try to defend themselves. So what he's doing there is making himself appear a lot bit larger to just, make, I'm a big guy, leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
That was his first step. Eventually, if you keep pursuing him, he will start to rattle his tail. That's another step.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Does it actually make some sort of noise?
Well, rattling it against dry bushes or leaves, you will get the effect of a rattlesnake. And after that, if you still pursue, then he will bite.
Wow. Ricardo, why is he shaped this way? Like I said, the shape is most unique. I've never seen this snake before. I never even heard of it until yesterday. Why this particular shape?
Speed. That's part of his whole makeup. He's a fast guy. He's not so much, he will lay in weight, but he is fast moving. He's like a racer, like the black racers in America, similar sort of makeup. They move very quick. So it's a quick moving snake. So it's not a lumbering snake like the constrictors. Constrictors are lumbering. Although their strikes are very fast, but a constrictor will never really move quickly through the bushes. This guy is light, is lent. See, he's wiggling the tail there a little bit there because I'm moving, so he's detecting and noticing me. And he will go across the length and the shape and the distribution of his weight allows him to go across branches quickly to move on the ground.
You're rattling his tail.
Yep.
So should I let go of him? Am I in
No, you're fine.
You're fine. Yeah.
He's very visual, so the fact that when Ricardo moving his hands and stuff, They have very good eyesight.
Yeah.
They will actively pursue their prey rather than sit and wait like a constrictor. They will actually pursue their prey through the forest, through up the trees, to go towards birds or rats, mice, bats.
Oh, he's fast.
No,
He's a fast guy.
That is, he goes up a tree to pursue rats. Why are you still rattling your tail? I'm not doing you anything.
He's puffing the neck there. Look, the neck is coming in the puff.
Isn't that strike position?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I'm worried. He won't strike you. If anything, I'll get it.
He's more focused
And
on
I'm not
the
worried.
I'm actually never been bitten by a snake, but I don't really plan on being
But
bitten by a snake.
you know, a great media moment would probably be a nice bite on television live.
Yeah, sure, and probably me falling on my back following that. But okay, so I've read a lot thus far. I'll be honest with you. You guys said a lot. I haven't fully digested because I am so fascinated with this snake, the shape, the color, everything about it. How old is this snake? Because this is what, about 6 feet, between 5 and 6 feet.
A little over 6 feet.
So how old is this guy or this girl?
This guy could be, well, I got him from someone else who couldn't touch it, couldn't hold it, and he was very much emaciated.
Really?
So bring him back up, put back up his size. The person was feeding it as though it was a boa constrictor, where animal that will sit and wait for food. So it would have been every 2 weeks or so he feeding the snake. These guys have a very high metabolism, so they'll eat more often.
Yeah, because the speed, because of everything.
So he surrendered it to us at the center and fattened him back up. And now I would say on average he's probably about 5 years old also.
And how long are they known to live for?
And I would say in captivity they will live a lot longer. In the wild it's like 8 years.
Oh, okay. Is this guy going back into the wild or?
He might stay as an ambassador, seeing that you have never met one of these guys. And a lot of persons would see these snakes and decide I've heard persons say it's venomous. You hear a person say it's what do you call that snake from Africa? The black mamba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and so and he's a very chill specimen. He don't try to bite
you think
that
so?
often. Yeah, if you meet a wild tigre, we wouldn't be able to sit here comfortably. That snake would be all over the place.
He's rattling his tail even more and more.
Because he's picking up the motions.
Yeah, it's just the motions. They are very visual. So my hand moving, my head moving, he's focusing on that, he's looking at that.
Yeah. Motion trigger. It's like a motion sensor in his body and that gets him off.
Oh, okay.
So when the animals move, he'll respond to it and goes after it. He's quick, almost knee-jerk. If like, he might snap my finger there, he's very much, see that there?
Yeah.
So I'm snapping my finger, my arm is on the desk. So when I snap my finger, my arm is vibrating on the desk and creating, so he's getting that sensation and he's looking at the movement and he's like, okay, are we going to eat this today?
At me.
Right? No, now he's going to start looking at you.
You.
Now he's going to turn, but it's just an amazing thing to see their movements, their motions, and at the end of it all, you get a bite from this here. It's a couple little dots, pinholes in your hand. Where the bite might seem bad is if a lot of times snakes like this, the cascabel, when they latch onto you, you pull.
Oh.
Causing that ripping. Someone who's more experienced, you know, if you get bitten, they would just hold on for a second and the snake would be like yuck and release. But an amateur bite and pull, it would really, you know, tear your skin and then of course cause a lot of bleeding and it looks much worse than it actually is. So there you get the saying, it bite like a dog, but no.
So I'm being straight up honest with you. No, he's non-venomous, not very aggressive. I'm very nervous right now. I actually do feel very nervous.
Why don't you just take a bite on your arm and get that over with?
No.
Because I think that's what the fear is. If it bites me, what is it going to be like?
I'm good. I'm really good.
You can present just your arm. You have a jacket on. I mean, you may go for the bare skin as opposed to the jacket, which you should.
That's the thing. It's not the skin, it's the face. You know, it's what they refer to as the moneymaker.
But don't worry, you'll be great as a Scarface. I think Jack Sparrow has a scar too.
Yeah, why not actually?
You put a little headband on you and
I think Jeremy's more the Jack Sparrow than anything else. What about the scales on this guy? The scales on this guy are also something very unique. I've never seen that before on a snake, where they seem so... Alright, Jeremy, I think it's time for you to get some information and come and take this snake. Just unhook your microphone for a second. Yeah, you're gonna unhook that microphone. No. From here. Yeah.
You can just move your right arm and,
Yeah, you can just slide them across towards Ricardo.
Really? You sure?
Yeah. And Ricardo could probably...
We're ready for bites. Come on,
Yeah,
send
there
him,
you go,
send
you
him.
see?
Come on, send him. Send him, push him, send him,
Oh,
push
okay,
him.
cool.
Push him, push him. Hello, I'm not holding you today. Come on, yeah, see? Now he's focused on me, and now he's going to bite. He's going to swing back, and he's going to get you.
You have to forgive me. I'm fascinated with snakes, ladies and gentlemen. I absolutely love them. I'll touch them. I'll hold them. This is the first for me. And I'll be honest with you, probably if you're feeling that rattling on your hand as well, and if you turn around, so you would have felt nervous. I was actually feeling quite nervous because of just how he was turning. You're seeing him puffing up, and you're feeling him puffing up. You're feeling the rattle, but believe you me, I am no crocodile hunter, Steve Irwin, that could probably, where he would go up and kiss a king cobra if he could. That was Steve Irwin for you. But it's a first step, and I have to say, again, if I were to compare this to the tiger snake, they do look very much alike. They do look very much alike with the yellow underbelly and the black stuff. But again, getting back to that situation in respect to scales, the snakes that we've had in studio before, I haven't seen scales like that where they're so, it seems spaced out.
Yeah, it seems like it's on elastic.
Yeah.
And then it just expands.
Is that because of his speed and shape as well?
That's part of it also. If the snakes were like on the constrictors and so on there, that would actually limit its mobility and speed. It will still move very well, but this way, with that sort of elasticity and that movement you get with the scale, that helps him to move very
Look at
fast.
how fast he's moving.
Yeah.
Do they move on water as well?
Well, not really on water. They can swim. So I would imagine that they would go across, if they have to pace across a river, they will do it very quickly compared to the lumbering sort of movement of a regular constrictor.
Yeah, he's really active. Even the tongue is black. The tongue.
Yeah, the tongue is for me the most amazing. But the head,
Wow.
the tongue is just the most amazing feature.
It's incredible. Jeremy, he kind of went straight to you. I guess do snakes really know who the individual is? Because he seems very comfortable with you.
I would like to believe that he would recognize me because this is a very visual snake. He would. However, it's based on how you handle them. If you were to just get into it, rather than a lot of persons will see this and they try to edge towards the snake. That makes any animal nervous.
Yeah, you corner any animal, it's obvious response.
Yes. So what you need to do is just get into it. You grab him up, pick him up, and he'll be fine.
And the advice I also received from Jeremy Lewis is, don't really, you see this thing where they constantly go above the snake for their head?
Correct.
Try your best not to do that. Go for the belly because it mimics a predator.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so I know you said these guys eat birds, rats, bats, that they go after all those things. Wow.
Literally anything that they could swallow, they will take.
How do you tell the difference though? Is there a way to actually tell the difference between a venomous snake and a non-venomous snake?
You really have to know the animal to know, because a lot of times person will say look at the eyes and the shape of the eyes, and that is no. Somebody will be bitten by a venomous snake by that. And then there's even the coral snake where they will talk about the red and yellow kills a fellow, red and black, the OK jack. That don't apply to this part of the world.
Yeah.
Because our coral snakes are red, white, and black. Yeah. The small coral.
You have to know your animals.
I was just about to say, I've never even heard that saying because I was taught growing up that any coral, be it red and black or red and yellow, you know, stay away.
Looking at documentaries and from North America, from Australia, those parts, persons would hear that saying, red and yellow kills a fellow, red and black UK jack. I learned that from watching Crocodile Hunter. All right. However, I do apply it to this part of the world. So the South Americans, no, you will be bitten and you will be envenomated by a highly venomous coral snake.
But this doesn't look like any of the venomous snakes that we have in TNT actually. This does not, first instance, mimic a mapapee, mimic a coral.
The only mimic of a mapapee is to rattle its tail. Mapapee, they will do that to warn you off.
Yeah.
As I say, persons will see this and say it's a black mamba. Kill it.
It's not a black mamba. A black mamba, I don't think a black mamba is even as black as this. Black mamba's mouth is black. Yeah. Not the scales. The scale, it's more of a grayish, brownish snake. Yeah. You know, does this guy have any predator? Given his defense mechanisms, how he looks, the rattling of the tail, the puffing, does he have any predators?
Yes, of course.
Of course, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Somebody will always try to eat you.
And I'm assuming it's a predatory bird.
That's one. That's one of the main
That's
ones.
one.
Yeah, that's one of the main ones. Yeah.
What else is there?
Well, there's like the tyra would eat them. The colored peccary.
Really?
Wild hog will eat them. Oh yeah. Wild hog will eat anything. If you're given a chance, it will eat you in the wild. Okay, especially for, you know, a whole band of them descending you, you're in trouble. Okay, so yeah, but the white hawk is one of the most noted predators of these guys because of where they live. And of course, we've met the white hawk before, so you can understand his main diet being reptiles, and this is a reptile that is of nice length and so on, and you know, he would try to take one down quite easily.
Wow. Would they fight back though? I mean, yes, the white hawk could hit it from above, but would the snake fight back? Would they try and swing at the...
Yeah, but it will have minimal effect. You'll have to be a big one like this to really have an effect on a big white hawk. Because of the body construction, which is slender. White hawk grabs this, the pain and damage is going to inflict on it, and then it will almost immediately go for the head, you know.
I'll tell you something. So, you know, on the list of snakes that have visited AM Prime previously, I think this is my number 2. I'm honestly conflicted between 1 and 2. I was absolutely fascinated by the green anaconda. I was absolutely fascinated by the green anaconda. It was incredible. It was beautiful. The eyes, everything about it was just... This guy, I've never seen a snake like this before, and he is stunning. And I'm, as I said, conflicted between 1 and 2 right now. But
amazing.
I'm glad for the experiences, and I'm glad that we can educate. And as I said, I did feel a sense of anxiety and nervousness for, because look at that pose. Even with Jeremy, whom he should be accustomed to, he's going into his strike position. So, folks, when you are out in the wild, if you ever come across these snakes, as Jeremy and Ricardo have mentioned, they are defensive. They are not aggressive. Leave the snake alone. Do not try and attack the snake in any form or fashion. Just leave it. You're in its home. It's not invading your space. You're actually invading the space. So just leave it. Guys, anything left to say about this guy? I mean, I didn't even ask for a name. I'm assuming there is a name, or there's not a name as yet.
No, there's no name as yet.
Okay, great. So if you'd like to help Jeremy and Ricardo name the snake, you can send your suggestions to us here at AM Prime. You could. We're not saying that we're going to accept it or take it, but you could still send your suggestions. We're always open to that.
We would definitely not be accepting Blackie. that is the most overused name, and it's not a pronoun.
We're not.
There you go.
It says no bite as such, is there?
That's a bite. It bit me, but nothing happened. It literally didn't burst my skin at all. Look, there's no blood, nothing. That is a bite.
Being defensive.
Just being defensive. He literally just try to push me away, like, leave me alone.
Yeah, because he's pushing himself back now.
Exactly. So you pursuing this animal, not trying to bite you, just want to get away from you.
Yeah. Well, that does a lot for my age as well. Certainly does. Anyway, guys, we're out of time for Wild Wednesday. Thank you very much for an amazing experience and an amazing animal once more.
Yeah, his pose there is just amazing. I'm sure he's glad to be on set.
Can we get yeah, look at that.
There we go.
Look at that.
I think we have to look into white countertops now. If you're going to put in animals quite like this, the white countertops.
It's better than the parrots. Regardless of what happened to the parrots.
Yeah. So we would not be bringing on any green iguanas. No, it's just not going to happen. Next thing I think it's the Cuban blue iguana.
We would need an old iguana. You know the ones that are brown. He can bring him. He can bring in when it's brown.
Right. Might work. That might work out. Yeah.
Anyway, folks, that's it. Thank you very much for another Wild Wednesday. The most amazing thing is that I get to experience this all in studio. But Ricardo and Jeremy have always been kind. If they have time, they actually go out on the streets and meet some patrons on their way to school, on their way to work, and they've stopped to pet snakes before. Let's see if they might pet this one this morning. Guys, do have a great day ahead, a productive one, a safe one. Jeremy, Ricardo, thank you very much once more. Thanks for the bite demonstration as well.
Thanks for having us.
It's always a pleasure. Ricardo, I don't think he likes the bed, man. That's why he's posing up like that.
You gotta get accustomed to it. It's gonna be here for a while. When it touches the desk,
I'm not complaining. I had a bed for.
It's a new wild look for 24.
That's good, man.
And it's not like I went out and I bought it. It just sort of grew on me.
You could buy beds.
You could buy anything.
You could buy
anything you want.
You could buy half your body parts in them. Yep. Well, no. Anyway, guys, before Ricardo gets strike, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
WESN.
The home of Caribbean content is growing, and we welcome you to